Hello, world. This is Cuz the Internet podcast. I'm your host, Trey.
Jose, let's get into it.
There's been a lot going on over these last 2 weeks now, man. Kwame Brown, man, he's legit going at everybody, bro. I'm not even gonna name everybody. I'm just gonna name Charlamagne. He actually,
He's going after everybody. I'm not
yeah,
gonna name everybody. I'm just gonna say Charlamagne.
dude, because he everybody else got some shots. I thought Matt Barnes was like crazy, but no, Charlamagne, he opened up a whole can of worms. The thing is, we're not gonna really get into the case because again,
Yeah,
that's just a little
all
too messy.
allegations.
All
Exactly.
exactly. So the thing is that with those allegations, Kwame Brown totally went off, and this all starts and stems from Charlamagne bringing up his family, how his father went to jail for a brutal crime, and his other siblings went to jail as well for different crimes. And Kwame's problem, at least from what he says, is that the fact that his son didn't know this history about his dad, and just other people and fans didn't know this history,
Exactly.
and Charlamagne just brought it out in the open, right? So at that point, for him, it's gloves off. So with all that information said, he goes out and he just starts shooting at him, talking about, again, the allegations against him, saying how, they need to cancel Breakfast Club, they need to cancel Charlamagne, calling him all types of names, just going in. And now he's getting a lot of traction because I see a lot of fans and a lot of people really jumping on this bandwagon. I just want to ask you, how do you feel about it? How do you think he was out of bounds with what he was doing? Do you think all fair in war? Like, what's your point of view on this?
Um, for real. My take on it is, I mean, the gloves are off. He spoke on things, and Charlamagne explained it best in his apology. He says, "You know what? I should be more. I should be held to a higher regard. Like I should be more responsible. I'm not just like say Leonard from the block. I'm
Yeah,
actually Charlamagne Tha God on the radio that reaches millions of people. So me talking like, you know what, yo, don't mess with him because his family, yo, they get busy. But being on air, being supposed to be responsible, reaching millions of viewers, you speaking like that, it's like it's and I understand I understand the feelings he has towards it. Like, why did you bring this up? My children didn't even know about this. Fans didn't know about this. You're speaking out the side of your neck now, so I'm going to speak out the side of my neck. And I get it. But at the same time, I mean, you have to be able to see through everything and know it wasn't done maliciously. I know he's upset at everything that's going on. So this is why it's hard for you to see through everything that's happening. But
yeah,
humans make human errors, you know?
yeah. No,
So
I get
I'm
you.
not I'm not blaming him. I'm not saying he's wrong for doing what he's doing, but at the same time, he apologized. Just
Yeah.
accept the apology and move on. That's
No, and I get
my
you.
perspective on it. You?
I fully get that perspective because that is honestly the best way, in my opinion, to go about it. But the thing is from his point of view, like when someone's hurt, right? It's difficult to tell them that, hey, I didn't mean it when it's a
Mm.
direct shot to him. Because remember, Charlamagne started off his whole thing by saying he's real good friends with Matt Barnes and all this other stuff, all the Smoke podcast, and then he goes into that whole thing. I told them to leave him alone, and the one thing about Kwame Brown, he's been standing on this point of view from the beginning. So I can't even say he wavered. He's like, you guys are trying to push the narrative that I'm dangerous or I'm losing my mind or I'm emotional or I'm going to hurt somebody. So Charlamagne saying that his family's a bunch of,
Yeah.
might be crazy or violent offenders is just, again, pushing this whole thing about him being unstable. So I understand his point of view. He's thinking that it was very tactical. And who's to say it wasn't? I actually believe Charlamagne on his apology, but I can't blame him for looking deeper. you know?
No, and I that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Because if me and you were talking, we
yeah,
would talk about that about somebody that we know.
yeah.
If we get huge, if we were to have that same conversation, it would
Yeah.
be different results.
No,
So
exactly.
I get it, but
No, what you're saying is right, but it's just now it's been bad now. So Funk Flex has jumped into this, totally playing audio of the accuser's mother. And so I believe I've heard, I don't know if it's true, but I believe it's true that Charlamagne's suing Funk Flex and the station for that. And then who else has jumped into it? Joe Budden has jumped into it now because the thing is that okay, you're
no,
gonna
I was
say?
just gonna say this has nothing to do with them. So what are they jumping in it for? Like, no one
Yeah.
spoke about you guys. No one brought you guys' names up. Leave it alone. This has nothing to do with you guys. That's just my opinion, but hey,
Well, because the thing is Charlamagne on his Brilliant Idiots podcast with Andrew Schultz was talking about the breakup between the Joe Budden podcast and the crew, and he was Charlamagne was just basically saying how these were well, basically during that breakup, how the tactics and the untrustworthy personality that Joe Budden had, he saw, and that's why he distanced himself from the from him, and just basically still slandering his name, even though he
I
wasn't
mean, it's
really.
not slandering his name if it's the truth.
I
If
hear you.
that's what I mean, I
Mhm.
can't say it's the truth.
No.
It's his truth. He's
Okay.
speaking on his truth. So if that's how he feels, that's how he feels. But the Kwame Brown has nothing to do with you and the allegation. Like, if you're going to speak about something, speak about the Breakfast Club, speak about Charlamagne, and you don't trust him or you don't like what he does. That's fine. But to speak on an allegation that has nothing to do with you, does not concern you, that's none of your business. What are you bringing that up for? No one asked for your 2 cents.
I fully agree. I listen. Actually, no, I can't even say I fully agree because again, in war, it's war. Now,
There was no
I
war
wouldn't.
between him and Joe Budden. There was no war.
There was kind of a war. There was something there. We'd be lying if we said it wasn't. At first,
Okay,
it was
hold
a
on.
love-hate war, and since Joe Budden was leaving Spotify, at that point they were going back and forth, but it was all in play, maybe. But Joe Budden and Charlamagne, at least from what Charlamagne was saying, they spoke. Everything was squashed. Then Joe Budden went back on air and was, being disrespectful and dogging him. So at that point, he cut off Joe Budden. And like I said, now Joe Budden is down. Charlamagne was kicking him, just basically saying the type of character he has and the type of person he is. So I get what you're saying, but I don't blame Joe Budden returning that favor right now that Charlamagne's down. I'm being real
I mean,
about it.
Charlamagne's not down at
At
all.
all. No, he's not. But I'm saying as far as popular opinion, again, even Joe Budden, who knows if Joe Budden's not really down either. But I'm talking about just popular opinion and fans watching. Their approval rating isn't that high right now in the people's eyes. So, like I said, I can't really knock that. And same thing with Funk Flex. Funk Flex was been getting dogged by Charlamagne for years. Remember when they were having the radio station beefs between Power 105 and Hot 97? So he's been waiting for this moment. So I can't blame your enemies for waiting for your downfall and trying to push your downfall on you, especially now since it's picking up so much traction. So speaking of Kwame Brown, again, so he's been going at Stephen A. Smith as well, because Stephen A. Smith's been going at him for like 20 years, calling him a bust, and just, again, from what Kwame, scrub, bust, all that. And from what Kwame is saying is that, and from what I've heard from Eton Thomas and other people, that Michael Jordan pretty much single-handedly tried or assisted in ruining his career. And due to the fact that Stephen A. Smith and so many people worship Michael Jordan, they've pretty much ran with that narrative that was put out there by the Washington Wizards and people in that organization, including Michael Jordan. Now, Stephen A. Smith finally clapped back. We're using that word. Finally clapped back on an 8-minute segment on Stephen A's World, where he legit, there's some holes in it because he says that nobody spoke about him and how Kwame is, and no, he said nobody spoke any personal things about
Yeah.
him, and Kwame is just going at people for no reason. He named everybody: Charlamagne, Steven Jackson, and everybody
Julian,
else.
yeah,
Exactly.
right.
And so at that point, he played about a minute clip of just lowlights of Kwame Brown, and pretty much just he was trying to get his clap back and rude. You know what I mean? Trying to get him on the
Mm.
same level. How do you feel about that?
Once again, he has his platform. He's entitled to his opinion. But at the same time, if you go looking for the lowlights, you're gonna find lowlights in anything. I'm pretty sure if you look for highlights, he'd find as many, even more highlights.
Yeah.
So it wasn't fair for him to be like, and this is all you. Like everybody has had a fumble. Everyone's had something. So, and then he's like, oh well, basically you're supposed to be top tier in the sport you play, or this NBA, like it's top tier basketball, and you basically are you weren't good. Okay, cool. So you keep using the analogy, oh, you're a scrub, you're a bust, da, da, da. Then he says he had a better career than Stephen A did.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, if you want to be fair, why don't you say you're a scrub, you're a bust? Like, yo, I shouldn't even have been here because I'm nowhere near as good as him, and he was there and he was horrible. So, like, you're not gonna sit there and call yourself out. So leave the man alone.
Mm.
Just leave him alone. Like, my thing is, I guess it's for the ratings. You see, you're getting traction, and then he's getting traction because he's just going off on everybody respectfully, because it is what it is. But leave him alone.
Yeah.
You know he doesn't like it? Stop. Like, you teach your kids this. If somebody is bothering you, like if somebody tells you stop, you leave them alone and move on. He says he doesn't like it, leave him. Just done. Problem solved. You're saying there are so many people here that we can talk about. We're not talking about race, color, da 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 da. So talk about somebody else. You already know he doesn't like it. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion. You?
So I agree with you. And plus he called him a clout chaser and saying that, you know, he's doing his rants, and he was pretty much just trying to dog his platform. Now, I thought it was a real bad look for Stephen A. Smith. I honestly thought it was whoever told him to do that did not care about his image at all. For one, I'm not saying you don't, I'm not trying to say Kwame is down, but in this media, television world, Kwame Brown is Stephen A. Smith punching down. And that's what he did. And he really got in the gutter with him. And that is not a good look. It looked real petty. I mean, it was just distasteful. Mind you, when Kwame Brown's going at him, it still looked like somebody that was over it. Like, okay, you guys are going to keep messing with me, you're going to get it back. Now, when Stephen A is coming at him, it looks like somebody that just wants the attention or just doesn't want to look like they're getting punked off. So it seemed more of an insecurity rather than trying to prove or get your point across. It was just a real bad look. I'm not saying I had crazy respect for Stephen A, but it just made me look at him like everything Kwame Brown is saying is right about these guys. Like, that's what it came out to, because he said that they were going to pull stunts like this. They're going to try to say clout chasing. He said that the go along, get along gang, as he calls them. And then those were the same people that Stephen A called out, saying that he did nothing to, and how I was just like, everything Kwame Brown is saying that these guys would do, they're doing. I'm like, wow, it's crazy that ESPN would allow Stephen A to go on his platform and do an 8-minute rant about somebody that doesn't appreciate the way he's been disrespected for 20 years, and you can't handle it for 2 weeks. So imagine what he was going through for 20 years. That's just, I'm just saying,
Yep.
it's wild to see this, man. It was factual as far as, let's say, points scored, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Stephen A. Smith is supposed to be a basketball savant. Now, when Kwame Brown said that he helped Kobe with his 81 points,
Yeah.
and Stephen A. Smith is going to have a straight face and say he didn't do anything, and he's like, come on, giving them screens, be like, that's a big part of the game. Like, you should understand that. Like, that's a
Yep.
huge part of the game, bro. Like, it makes no sense to me. Like, so I was just like, you're really just switching things around to win an argument or to try to get your point across. Because what he did was played his position and was just setting screens. And he's like, watch those screens. I set the best screens, those that are. Give the man his credit. Like, that's legit. And when you watch the game, you see it. Like, if you watch back the game, he was setting some solid screens. And that was what his job was that night. And you're going to even try to diminish that? To me, it just looked real petty. And like I said, it looked a little bit beneath Stephen A. Smith, man. And I can't believe that ESPN let him do that because it's just not a good look. Just saying.
Definitely not. You were saying you don't know what you want the end result to be. I want the end result to be everybody just leaves him alone. That's all he wants. Just leave him alone. If you're gonna say somebody else, say somebody else. Leave him out of it.
But I don't think that's what he wants. I think what he wants is for things to change. I think he has a bigger fight. Like, he wants for there to be some accountability to these sportscasters and to these analysts and whomsoever, all these guys, color commentators, all of them that might not have played the sport or that are just disrespectful to people that do play the sport. It's like, look, you're calling me a bust and you're saying that I'm not worth anything and you're diminishing the popular opinion on my name, which can diminish my trade talks, which can diminish my money, my contracts. Like, these things really do count, So at the end of the day, it's one thing if you just say, hey, he's not, as a New York Knicks fan, I don't think he's worth 60 million. That's respectful. That's understandable. But if you're just saying like, yo, he sucks, man. I'm surprised he's still in the league, man. No team should have him. That's different from saying that I don't think that the Knicks should get him for 60 mil. Like, if you understand what I'm trying to say. When you're talking about somebody not having a career or being out of the league, you are messing with their money. And there's a difference between saying someone can excel or get better than actually down talking them and making them, again, public enemy, because that's what they did to Kwame Brown. Made him the worst player to ever play in the NBA. And there's been triple times way worse players, but he just became the face of it. And they single-handedly did that.
Because we're on the topic of basketball, Trae Young got spit on by a fan.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook, popcorn thrown on by a fan. And now these fans have been basically ejected, suspended.
Yeah, indefinitely, yeah.
Exactly. What do you feel about that? Like, actually, hold on. I'll start.
Okay.
What I feel about it, sorry, the popcorn, I can live with that. You're gonna throw popcorn on me? Hey, I mean, he's suspended indefinitely. I'm good with that. There should be no reason why you're throwing anything on anybody. You did not put anything on anybody. Do not touch them. Like, don't throw popcorn on me. Don't throw anything at me. If you're upset, throw it in the air. If you want. If it lands on you, fine with me. Don't touch me. Now, the spitting on me, I find that the most disrespectful thing in the world. You took your mouth, you fixed it to hock a loogie and spit on me? It's a wrap. I was like, no, it's beyond suspension indefinitely. No, something's got to happen to him. Give me an address. That's it. I'm not saying I'm gonna do anything. I just want his address. That's it.
Yeah.
Nah, wild disrespectful. Like, I hope Trae Young sues him. I hope his cousins beat the dude. Yo. Anyways, that's how I feel about it. Don't spit on nobody. Like, touching somebody is bad enough. Throwing stuff on someone, bad enough. But spitting on, like, you took it to a whole nother level. I'm not playing with you anymore. Like, I'd probably be fined and suspended because I would have fought that. I would have fought the fan. Hands down. I find it disgustingly disrespectful. Disgusting and disrespectful. I would fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the end of it.
Understandable, man.
You?
Understandable.
How did you feel
Why
about
don't you
it?
tell me how you really feel? But no, dude. I agree with you 110 million% on it. I think the popcorn was out of line, definitely, and the suspension indefinitely. Even that, I think, is still too lenient because these fans are becoming too emboldened. They're having just way too much, like, just shooting stuff. Like, come on, man. There's no reason to be, because it could have been something else. You're lucky it was
Exactly.
popcorn, but it could have been Gatorade. It could have been legit anything else. And to me, that's what you should punish him for. Not because of the popcorn, just because he had in his mind to do something to me. So that's how I feel about that. Now, the spit. The thing was, Trae Young did not see. Like, that's the thing. He really didn't. He spat on him, and then he was like, and he looked around, but he really did not know what happened. You get what I mean? Like, it was really like one of those things. His back was turned. Now, I think the NBA should actually press charges. I really do. I think, and that's why I think they dropped the ball on this, because this is a perfect moment. Because again, if Trae Young would have went over there and punched him in his face, or worse, Trae Young could possibly face charges for that. But on the street, if you spit on somebody, that is assault. So why isn't it assault in a basketball arena or in an arena? So it makes no sense to me. Definitely minimum, they should definitely press charges. And plus, this is Corona time, bro. Corona time as well. Where is the player safety? They took, like I said, they took this extremely lightly, and that's what's bothering me so much, because they make these players have to sit out 2 weeks if they're even in the area of somebody that might have had it, or just if they didn't know they had it, just if they're in the area with anybody that's not a part of the NBA. So if that's the types of precautions you take, but then a random person spits on him, you need to go above and beyond and make sure that that person, again, has a record or something for that type of stupidity and disrespect. Like, I honestly wished Trae Young would have saw, or any of the other players would have saw, because I know things would have been flying. But again, he lucked out. He really did luck out, and I'm just hoping that the NBA follows through with something heavier than just permanently suspended or indefinitely suspended from the arena, Madison Square Garden, because that's a bull, bro.
So, off topic. New Rory and Mal.
New Rory and Mal.
Yo, I saw the skit that they have on their YouTube channel. I literally was dying, like laughing out loud, crying.
Okay.
And the thing is, other people may watch it and may not think it's funny at all. They might think the humor was dry, whatever. It was my type of humor. It was just subtle. It was there. It was like a Seinfeld type of humor. It was like a real life thing, but you can relate to it, so that's what makes it funny. And then the fact that they were putting the things that happened to them in their whole thing in it, hilarious. Genius.
No, I fully agree, man. Comedic genius over there. I honestly didn't even think they had it in them, bro. It was very self-deprecating. They did a great job of just making fun of themselves. Detergent. You know, does he
The
have?
accountant.
Yeah, the accountant, bro. It was genius. It was genius, and like you said, great job, Seinfeld. Exactly. It was really just it. And again, I enjoy the same type of humor, very dry humor that kind of you have to think about, but you don't. It's like that joint's mad funny, but they're not. It's not slapstick. They're not laughing at it or whatever. It's just
Exactly.
really right there for you just to think about it, and you know, it was just, I know I'm not saying much, but I really appreciated it. I actually
Yeah.
thought these guys, they know what they're doing. For anybody that thought that they'd be slipping without Joe, in my opinion, to me, all that is showing is that Joe was holding them back because I didn't see this side of them. That they were
Yeah.
always sidekicks to Joe's show. And
Yeah.
so you never really got like they throw in one or two jokes, but it was always just added that you're like, oh, that's pretty funny, but you didn't think they had a sense of
Yeah.
humor. This showed me like these dudes actually can, at least if their show is anything like this, I'm definitely tuning in, man. It was
Yeah.
some really, really good stuff, man. I liked where they're going with it so far, and I think it was smart marketing in general. It's
Yep.
well done, man. Great promotion. Like to put it out like that, put it out like little 5 minute episode, well, whatever that was, a 5 minute commercial,
Yeah.
and just make, dude, I'm definitely looking forward to it, man. They smart marketing, man.
Did you subscribe to their YouTube page?
Of course I did. What kind of animal do you think I am to watch it and not subscribe?
Right? Exactly. You spent and invested however many minutes of your life. Just subscribe. And then share it with a friend and let that friend subscribe. And they'll see how funny and entertaining and heartfelt they can be.
I never thought of it that way. I'm going to share with all my friends.
Message!